and welcome to CX Today. I'm Rhys Fisher, Deputy Editor, and today I'm going to be speaking with Emmanuel Doubinsky, Product Director at Scorebuddy. Emmanuel, thank you for joining me. How are you doing today?
Hi, Rhys. I'm very good, thank you. It's finally the summer now, so I think we are all happy.
Yes, definitely. The sun's been a little bit elusive in South Wales, but it's nice to finally see it. Um, so today we're going to be talking about sort of the quote unquote modern contact center and a modern approach to CX. So to start with, could you talk about what that means to you, perhaps from a QA perspective?
Yeah, sure, Rhys, absolutely. So first, let's take a little step back on what's happening in the modern contact center. We couldn't talk about modern contact center without talking about AI. So AI is absolutely invading the front line with automation and bot answering questions, more and more questions, better and better. So this is the most visible part of the arrival and modernization of contact centers. And those bots are GenAI powered. So what's happening is they automate more and more simple tasks. They sound more and more like humans. And they are great at handling things that work, meaning, for example, you want to change your email password. You'll get a bot understanding your question, navigating through a few things, and then sending you a link to reset your email password. What they won't do well is when that thing doesn't work, when your backend system is not perfect. There's no business system that is flawless, and AI bots, however intelligent they are not always great at handling that. So these cases, these more complex cases, will be escalated to agents, which means agents will upskill themselves to handle more complex tasks, more interesting tasks. But in fairness, AI will have freed their time from simple automated thing to focus on these more interesting and complex issues. So that's what's happening in the front end. What's happening in the back end, to take the example of QA, is that QA in AI in the same way empowers QA to scan more conversations faster than before and detect quasi-automatically some potential regulatory breach or risks or business compliance risks as well. What it does as well is it start tracking agent performance on a much larger set of conversations, much larger sample, up to, let's say, 100% of them. And in doing so, it detects really valid coaching opportunities on this conversation because the set is just not a small sample, it's a big one. So similarly to the front-end support, AI empowers then human evaluator to focus on the important things. For example, evaluators don't have to check grammar anymore. They don't have to do that. They don't have to summarize their own scores. The AI can help them do that. What they can do is they can deep dive on cases that merit their attention, compliance, product knowledge, etc., because AI pinpointed those things to them. And the third aspect of that is when we said Gen AI bots are becoming more and more intelligent, more and more human-like, they also less deterministic than agents would have been before, or that the previous bots would have been before. They behave more and more like humans, and therefore they have to be QA'd like human agents. And this is what we see across our customers. They used to only look at deflection rate and the efficiency metrics for bots, and now they're starting to apply the same scorecard to their bots than they used to apply to their human agents, which is an interesting development in the new world of modern contact centers.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. So you touched on there, sort of, which leads into my next question. Leslie. You mentioned kind of that influx of AI and those AI-powered products, which has led to data being arguably, I suppose, more important than ever in this environment. How important is it for contact centers and vendors to ensure that their data is secure, and how do you guys go about doing that?
Yeah, so security is now the entry door to any customer network. You do not come in without going through a thorough ITsec audit. So, what has changed there? Why is it more important now than it was before? There's a number of reasons, very external ones, such as an incredible increase of cyber attacks. It's not like if I am attacked, what do I do? Is I am going to be attacked. How do I prepare for that? That's paradigm has changed completely, including contact centers. The second change that has happened is a general, as part of the modernization of contact center, one thing that they do all now is move all the on-prem system to the cloud to a cloud system. that has made them more security conscious. It's always good to be more security conscious, but actually the security risks are lower there in a well-managed AWS or Zero Cloud than they would have been in a poorly managed on-prem type of location. But it's a good move. It's a good trend for that. The last bit that has increased security concern is the level of AI and the association of AI with potential data protection breach. That attracts much more interest from the IT security departments who want to be absolutely sure they're not opening the door to this new fancy AI product ruining their data protection kind of policies. So I think your question was how should we handle that as modern and first-class vendors? So on the IT-Sec level first, we need a robust and accredited security certification. It's not enough to say we'll do our best. It's not enough to say we will comply. We have to comply and prove it. This is only possible through eternal certificates, which we do. The second thing is we have to be transparent. Security is not the perfect world. If somebody tells you that it's perfect, they are misleading you. Security is about improving and being transparent and exposing the risks that you have had and sharing that with your clients so that they know who they are starting to partner with. That means you accept IT security audits. You ask for them nearly, and we go through them absolutely all the time. And the last point on the IT security aspect is you have to meet the team. A lot of customers send us very long IT-Sec questionnaires, etc. And Jerry, we advise them, talk to our IT-Sec team as well. Any monkey can fill in a questionnaire, but you have to talk to the team to understand, are they real? Is it really important? Talk to the exec team. Is it important to them for their business? So that you know security is also a human aspect to that, which you need to assess as a potential customer of ours. The last bit is about AI. So AI has specific security concern associated to it, mainly linked to data protection and things like that. So the first thing that a vendor like us needs to prove to their customers is that we are absolutely running any LLM, any models in our own private infrastructure. You don't want any cowboy to send a request to a public cloud and leak your data there. The second thing that many customers ask us to commit to is that we will not train our models on their data with the risk of leaking that data to other clients. So this is something many customers ask us to commit to, and we always do.
Yeah, no, that's a really interesting point because there's been some sort of fairly high-profile examples of that instance you mentioned there, where they're getting trained on customer data, and that's kind of, I suppose, caused some issues. So yeah, that's good to hear. So moving on to perhaps another common issue that we see relating to the modern contact center, and that's agent burnout. Why do you think that is, I suppose? And are there any particular tools or features that you think can help with this?
Hmm. So it's an interesting question. The first question is agent burnout new? Is it a new thing, or has it always happened? So that's a first question. But let's say it is happening anyway. So where does agent burnout come from? It comes from another number of reasons. The first one is probably context switching is difficult. You come from a conversation to another one to another one. We find it hard in the office when we go from a meeting to another. Imagine 40 calls a day that are about something different. You have to have a strong neck to go through that. The second reason is you're not specialized in everything. You're expected to, but you're not. There's stuff you know better than others, and you struggle with that. It does contribute to your burnout a little bit. And the last point that contributes to that burnout is perhaps companies are more looking at agents' efficiency rather than agents' effectiveness. So they're looking more at the agents as potential bot replacement as opposed to humans that can actually add value to their process. So efficiency versus effectiveness is an important thing to watch because it can contribute to burnout by decreasing the perceived value of all the individuals and turning them into factory workers, basically. So how is that addressed by contact centers? The first thing they do often is they deploy what we call AI assist technologies, which assist the agent during complex conversation by guiding them through workflows, prompting them to say something, etc. So that sounds like a silver bullet to make the job easier, but it is not a silver bullet. It's probably a good one, but use it with measure. It has two drawbacks. The first drawback is there's a risk of overload of information. Like the agent is starting to have two conversations, one with the customer and one with the system that tells him something else. Okay, you have to be able to handle that, especially over 40 calls a day. The second and biggest risk, I think, is a disengagement of the agent from the customer conversation itself. They are starting to just execute scripts with more and more guidance, and there's a risk that they stop listening to the customer, they stop engaging in an authentic kind of a human problem solving exercise, if you see what I mean. And that in turn will lead to less job satisfaction, may lead to degrade customer experience, and that increases agent burnout definitely. So you want to use those tools with measure. I think the best approach to improve and resolve the agent burnout is to look back at what we were talking about, automating the front line and relieving the agent from like simple case and escalating to the more complex case. That means upskilling them, okay, and maybe specializing them more, and use AI to actually not only solve the low-level issues, but route the right ones to the right group of agents, giving them full context before the escalation, and that in turn will make their jobs more interesting, more valuable, that will increase job satisfaction, and I think will have an incredible effect on burnout.
So moving on to our last question here. So far, we've touched on AI, we've touched on data security, we've looked at the agent experience, as some of the major talking points of the modern contact center. Is there anything else that you'd maybe add to that list personally, Emmanuel, or I suppose more generally, any trends, technologies, or challenges that you see shaping the future contact center space?
Yeah, Rhys, that's a very good question. If you look back at the three themes that we just discussed, one common theme there is change. So change is here, change is accelerating. Um, Companies are moving from on-prem to cloud. They're moving more and more from bricks and mortars to online. They're moving from having low qualified agents to fully specialized, upskilled teams that can solve and like solving complex cases. But it also go from AI automating tasks to AI powering innovation. And that's a change that we haven't embraced fully yet. And if you look back at the historical industrial disruptors such as the train, the steam engine, electricity, etc., they all were perceived as a threat first before they delivered on the benefits. You have cities, for example, that did not want a train station because train was dangerous, loud, was putting people on horse and carts out of work, etc. And it didn't take them long to change their mind and get the train in because they could see the blossoming of jobs that brought with it. So same with AI. What we're missing a little bit with AI is that it's not just about automation. It's also about innovation. And that's what AI really should help us develop more. AI is not just for exec team like us, decision makers. It's for everyone in an organization. It's everyone can use AI to be better at their job, to bring more value to their customers, to their companies. And to drive this, what we are doing in Scorebuddy, we're organizing AI innovation workshops and challenges so that everyone has an opportunity to say, what can I do better with AI? How can AI contribute better to my team, to my job, to my company, to my customers? We want AI to be an empowerment for innovation, not replace, not automation. Automation is here, but how does it help you innovate? This is how we'll drive value. So we drive that process by really making everybody embrace it, not just ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, I like you kind of you hear a lot about people drawing those parallels, but I like that idea of AI as an empowerment tool. I think that's really a nice phrase and a nice way to look at it. And yeah, I think that's a great place to kind of end things today. Thanks again for joining me, Emmanuel. I think that's been a really interesting chat.
It's a pleasure, Reese. Thank you very much for the time.
No, anytime, anytime at all. And I'd also just quickly like to thank our viewers also for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, please do like and subscribe to the channel. And remember, you can find out more stories like this by visiting cxtoday.com. Until next time, thank you for watching.